Oh, hi! And welcome to day 8 of a year of living sincerely. You caught me reading my book, Shaken, Not Stirred, a Chemo Cocktail. It's a comedy about my tragedy. I'll read the back of it to you. Shaken, Not Stirred, a Chemo Cocktail is the cancer chapter in my story. It's a series of postcards from the other side of breast cancer and chemo. Been there, done that, had to buy a new t-shirt. What? When the glass is half full, being optimistic is pretty much a 50-50 chance. But when I was staring at 2 empty cups in the mirror, yikes. If that's not life handing out lemons, then I don't know what is. And I know, everybody always says to make lemonade when you get a twist of your fate like that. But I guess I'm more of a lemon-teeny kind of a girl. Ha! The lemonade never sees the vodka coming. Now that's a twist I can dance. Shaken Not Stirred, a Chemo Cocktail, is 1 part hope, a dash of bitter, a splash of sweet, with a twist of humor, and served on the rocks. It's a comedy about my tragedy. Yeah, I know cancer isn't funny. It sucks. But I believe laughter heals. So hold still while I tickle your funny bone. I thought it'd be fun today. Here's the book cover. If we just had a little story time and I introduce my book to you, Chapter 1. Part 1, Shaken Not Stirred. Chapter 1, Born to Laugh. Let me get a little sip first. And one more thing, I'd like to cue up the soundtrack to Shaken Not Stirred, a Chemo Cocktail. Don't know if you know this about my book, but the table of contents says the playlist. And that's because the table of contents is a playlist. Will very soon be a mix available on iTunes because every chapter has a song that goes with it. For instance, chapter 1 is Born, and that is a song by my favorite and local band, Over the Run. So I'm going to take this straw, and it's going to also be my orchestra stick, baton, and I'm going to cue up the band, and we'll have it playing underneath the chapter like it is supposed to. And then later you can go to iTunes and look up Over the Rhine and buy it because it's awesome. And you're going to want to buy everything that they write and sing because they're awesome. That's why they're my favorite band. So yeah. When I was a kid, I wanted to be a CIA agent when I grew up. I invented a spy persona and called myself Jules Bond. 006.910111213. Here are a few declassified photos from my dossier. Clearly I took my bottle shaken, not stirred, and my knack for assuming secret identities was also apparently reprogrammed.
I was born to laugh. I learned to laugh through my tears.
Even from the womb, it seems, I had an alias way before I ever had a real name. In utero, I went by Jeffrey Scott because my parents thought they were having a boy. Boy, was I a surprise. I don't know if you saw the pilot episode of Alias or not, but for me, watching it felt like deja vu. I wouldn't have blinked an eye if a couple of men in dark suits and sunglasses had nonchalantly sauntered into my junior high school cafeteria, plopped their trays down at my table, conveniently bumping my tray and scattering a few french fries, while covertly sliding an apparently blank business card, the old invisible ink trick, of course, into the palm of my hand. "What's the mystery meat today?" one of them would say, which, of course, would be code for "check the bottom of your milk carton," which would just have the word napkin on it. at which point I would discreetly remove my napkin from the silverware tray and unroll its contents, pretending to need my spoon for the rice pudding. I really did love that rice pudding. But this was quite possibly national security at stake, so I would down the pudding stat, and then, while wiping my mouth, quickly scan the note, which would explain that I fit the perfect profile to be the perfect spy. Smooth intro, with an embedded PS of an urgent plea to join the agency, followed by the encoded instructions that, should I choose to accept this mission, I should signify by swallowing the napkin, before it self-destructs in 10 seconds and causes a scene in the cafeteria. Then I should call the number on the card at my earliest convenience to set up our next rendezvous, at which point I would be filled in as to the details of my first mission. My eyes were peeled for those guys to finally show. I remember the summer that one of my oldest childhood friends, Monica, and I took on the case of the missing link. I had no idea what the missing link was. I hadn't taken biology yet. Not that it would have mattered. I've never been the scientist type, always the spy type. Anyway, Monica hooked me at the first mention of the missing link. It sounded so mysterious, so cool. How could we not take the case? We had trench coats and magnifying glasses and notepads and clue-sniffing hounds. We tracked the case all summer long. Eventually, though, the yellow buses started coming around again, and they chased away the summer. As the days faded, so the case grew cold. Also, we got interested in boys, and roller skating, and especially roller skating with boys. 7th grade was probably my most productive year of spy ops training. I had recruited a friend named Kim. We spent much of our latchkey moments on the phone compiling lists of cool words in pocket-sized notebooks, which we carried around and used like they were secret codes. That following summer, she went to Florida with my family on vacation. We assumed secret identities and accents and stayed in character the entire trip. I think we drove my mother nuts with it all, but she really didn't say anything about it. It's entirely possible that the respectable distance she kept from us whenever we were in public was, in reality, embarrassment. At the time, though, I gave her mad props for not blowing our cover. By 8th grade, I was so primed for the spy life that I thought I'd better invest a little more in inventing and substantiating my backstory and parallel life. So I went on official record that I wanted to be a clerk for a Supreme Court justice when I grew up. My English teacher was filming our campaigns, class speeches about what we wanted to be when we grew up, so the opportunity just presented itself. I said it right to the camera. From there, my course was set and I followed through with it, almost to a T. Practically a double major in college, I ended up with the emphasis on my journalism degree and one course short of a second degree in political science. Missed it by that much, as Maxwell Smart would have said. The G-men never showed. Well, it's probably best. As much as I would like to think that I could have been a great spy, I know I'm wired like one, and maybe, just maybe, the makers of Alias modeled the Sidney Bristow character after me. The truth is, I'm probably a little more like Maxwell Smart, and loving it. There's something about that old comedy trick that gets me every single time. I do drama, ask my kids, my redheads as I call them, but besides driving them crazy, the drama is mostly unintentional, as in, dramatic irony often happens to me. But it usually happens to have an element of comedy in it. Lucky for me, I have an innate love of comedy. It's like I was born to laugh or something. I thought I was going to be a super spy when I was a kid. I had no clue I would grow up to have to face such an evil and deadly nemesis, breast cancer. But it was more than drama, it was tragedy. It was a mission not impossible, but I am still in the process of debriefing. Basically, my postcard from breast cancer says, been there, done that, had to buy a new t-shirt. Don't wish you were here. Cancer is a real bitch. The thing is, though, God is really good. The Bible speaks of joy that comes in the morning. I've experienced this deeply in the midst of my cancer. I was born to laugh, and I think God made me this way. I don't know exactly how. I think it has to be the grace of God. But I've not wallowed in my cancer. I've wailed, but not wallowed. I did feel like I was dealing with a lemon when I got the diagnosis. I was definitely shaken. I'm not going to sugarcoat the rim and pretend that cancer was sweet or anything sick like that. What it was a twist of my fate I had to figure out how to cope with. They say when life hands you lemons to make lemonade. Well, I figure when that happens, it's not just 5 o'clock somewhere, but precisely in the exact spot I'm in. That's why I prefer a lemontini. How's that for dramatic irony? The lemon never knows what's coming, and then you throw in the vodka. Now that's a twist I can dance. Shaken, not stirred. I was born to laugh, but I learned to laugh through my tears. And that, kids, is chapter 1 of my book, Shaken, Not Stirred, a Chemo Cocktail. Available at Amazon, Kindle, and Barnes & Noble. And for the month of August, 100% of my proceeds are going to Save the Ta-tas, a way cool organization I super dig. Besides making cool t-shirts and other merchandise, they put the fun in fighting cancer. And I don't know about you, but when I was fighting breast cancer, I needed all the laughs I could get, and they delivered. Besides all that, they fund 5, high five, cutting-edge breast cancer researchers. And I don't know about you, but my idea is that that's where killing cancer is all about. Breast cancer researchers. They are superheroes. We need to fund them. Save the Ta-tas funds them. My book for the month of August is going towards Save the Ta-tas, which funds breast cancer researchers. So for the month of August at least, my book is also trying to kill cancer. So yeah. I realize this is a shameless plug, but buy my book, and let's close the book on cancer. You know what I'm saying? It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Cheers. Now go live sincerely, y'all. Peace out.
I was born to laugh.